Hey there everyone, Gamertag is Ant here, and I want to take a moment just to say a couple of things. First and foremost, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I always wish you guys the best day that you could possibly be having. And second, I just want to say thank you so much for always coming about the stream, letting me know that you've watched the tutorials when you come into the stream, or hit me up in Discord, whatever it may be, and wherever you're contacting me. I am glad you are letting me know that the video has helped you. Even when I've gone into other streams, people are like, oh, hey, it's that guy. I watched his tutorial video. It's super helpful, and I'm super happy that you guys are utilizing the video that I had made, and it is actually doing some good. It always sucks when you try to make a tutorial video and it ends up being rendered useless. So thank you guys so much again, and without further ado, we can get into this. So first I'm going to be bringing out the old web page. You'll want to go to GitHub. It's the same link as last time, github.com/firebottle/firebot/releases. I will have the link down below in the video. So with this, we are not going to download the latest release like I was telling you guys to do last time, because I had talked to Firebottle and he said that release 3.0 beta 2 was going to be the final release unless a bunch of bugs had been found and he needed to do an update again. So this will be a safe bet to grab. It has been updated to Mixer from all the references to Beam.pro. Since, if you guys haven't noticed and or seen because you haven't been on the site yet, Beam.pro is now Mixer.com, so it may take a little bit of getting used to when typing it in and or talking to people around the site, but it is a wonderful change, a very wonderful change. So what you're going to want to do is go down here to grab the Firebot Win32x64 zip, save that wherever you want it, and once you have it, you should be here. And when you are here, you're going to want to extract it. Extract it, either right click and extract here or extract it wherever you want it. And then once you've gotten it open, you will be prompted with this nifty little window. And once you are here, it's fairly simple. You just click login and it's going to show you this little code right here. And then after which you're going to click it, and then it'll take you to an OAuth page, as you can see, and then you want to paste the code in. So for the broadcaster side of things, you're going to need to be logged into your account, clearly, so that way you can sign in. And when you're done with the sign in on the broadcaster end, you're going to want to log out of your account for the broadcaster account, and then you're going to want to sign in on your bot account within your main browser, and then do the same thing over here. So you'll need to OAuth both of those, which will be completely fine, and it's a much easier way of going about things than the last version. That is for sure. You don't have to sign in and then do your two-factor authentication. It's just all OAuths now. After which, we will be heading over to interactive boards. And once you've gotten here, you're going to be doing the same process as last time, pretty much making your board within the Mixer Studio instead of the legacy version of the Mixer/lab. And then you're going to be entering your code. It's a 5-digit number this time instead of importing your JSON, which is very handy. It's much more seamless and a lot easier to deal with. And to get into that, we will actually go make a board. So this is going to be a kind of a dual video on not only just Firebot, but as well as Interactive 2.0. So once you're on Mixer.com, you're going to want to click your little icon up here, and then you're going to want to go down here to Studio, or you can just type in mixer.com/i/studio. Then you're going to want to create a board. So let's create one. Our project title, ignore that. Project title, what should we go with? Firebot tutorial. And I clearly can't type. Yeah, so here you're going to be greeted with the background for your board. This will just be an image that's displayed to anybody else who is using the share code. Here you can edit the description. This is also the discovery window, so when people are looking through games and or applications within the site on Mixer, this board will show up with Firebot tutorial, and then it'll have a description saying what it does and maybe even what some of the key button presses are for the chat and whatnot, so that way you can relay them without actually having to go into the bot and just looking through all the buttons, which you will probably most likely be doing anyway. And then in the installation process is the download URL, so that way if anyone needs to download an external app or anything like that, that would be all here. And then again with the description to let people know exactly how to download it. Most of the time you're not going to be dealing with this and or really this, so we are just going to get right into the build. So up here there are some tabs. There's also a drop down, so that way if you need to go back to the home. But here we are on info. You want to click on build, and then what we're going to do is have just our default scene. Alright, so once here, you're going to want to make a new control. You're going to want to name it. So this one, for testing purposes, we're just going to do one button. You do have the option to make it a button or make it a joystick. The joystick is going to do just like the last interactive boards did, and it is going to allow you to essentially control a character and movement within the game. The make a button is just going to be a normal button. So you can still set these normal buttons up to be like WASD to move like that, but the joystick is going to be a draggable ball on the screen to where people can just move seamlessly with that. So here we are, we're going to go test, add, I'm gonna drag and drop that right here. So the cool thing about this is they had updated how long the buttons can be. So you used to only be able to be 4 wide and 2 tall. This is a 4x1 button. This would be a 4x2 button, by 3, and now by 4. So you can make monster buttons. It is awesome. So there we go. I always like to save after I've placed a couple of buttons. Since we only have one, we're going to be doing it that way. So you may encounter some bugs. All different browsers act appropriately with their coding and whatnot. So this one, occasionally you will run into, yeah, there it is. You'll run into a weird little pop-up coming from your other grid. If that happens, you'll just want to make sure you save the project and then you refresh the page. Once you've refreshed the page, you should be able to get away from that. So if you witness these little errors and bugs, you may just need to report them to the Mixer staff, and that would be mixer.com/contact, and or you can just go back to Mixer and then click on your little profile thing, and the contact button will be right down here at the bottom left hand corner of the little pop-out window, which is very, very handy if you run into any problems. So over here I kind of just skipped past the scenes. If you make a new scene, what this does is it allows you to change the buttons up. So you'll have not only a new set of controls to put on, but you'll also have a completely new layout, whether it be with different buttons and or the same buttons if you want to make the same board over and over again to just change where the positioning of them are. You will be able to do so, which is very, very awesome. So at this point, I am going to actually delete that one. Then we're going to save again, just to make sure. Actually, it's still saved, so I don't need to do anything. Now that we've got everything saved, instead of viewing the JSON to import this into Firebot, as I had stated earlier, we are going to need a code. This 5-digit code is right here. This is your version ID for the game client that you have written. You can either click that to copy to your clipboard or just grab it like that. So once you've done that, you're going to be taking it over here. Whoops. You're going to be inputting it here, and then click Save Changes. So there we go. Now we have our first board. So this is just the general settings tab for Firebot. This is, see, my Firebot tutorial game board. If you click on that, it should take you straight to the studio to allow you to do some more editing, which is super awesome, very handy. You don't have to just keep typing into the site. No mixer.com/studio and get into that all again. It just does it very seamlessly for you. And right here, we're gonna have some more settings. These ones are a little bit more refined. So none would allow everybody to use your buttons. Pro would be just Mixer Pro users. Subscribers, if you're a partnered channel, would allow only subscribers to hit your buttons. This is set for just moderators, and then the other is clearly staff. So we're gonna go with none for right now, and we don't need to save any changes because it was set by that as default. So here we are. We can make our cooldown groups. The group name will be short length and I can't spell, getting ahead of myself, and then we are going to go for 30 seconds here. Now, after which, instead of dragging and dropping your buttons like you would in the other version, you're just going to select your buttons out of a drop-down window. We're just going to go Test and Save, and there we go. It's right there. We have not only that cooldown group, but you can make multiple cooldown groups as well, and then add more buttons to them. We're just going to go for 45, Save. So there's 0 buttons in it, and if you need to switch things over because it is too short of a cooldown, you can do so seamlessly with the click of an X and a click of a drop-down menu. It's very, very, very awesome. And thank you, Firebot, for making this tool so seamless. It is very, very handy. After which, you want to click over here to your default. This will allow you to preview what your spark costs are, what your button text is, what your control ID is. So if you're going to be within a reference area of your mind, you'll have your control ID, which nobody sees the name of. That's a reference for you within the Mixer.com studio. The button text, however, is going to be what everybody else sees. So if you want that to be different, so that way you can reference your sound or your image name there, you will be able to do so, and then come here and look it up. And then after which, once you've gotten all that understood and where you want to go with things, you will then pick an effect, which you can do just like the last one, which is an API button. You got a new button here which allows you to change the group. So we made the one scene, but if you made multiple scenes, such as if I had made a test scene, not just the default scene, you'd be able to change the group of buttons. So as you can see, from default to awesome group, and make sure you assign each scene to that group, which would mean the group of buttons that I'd want selected is clearly going to be default just now, but if you make multiple scenes, you'll be able to have a button on your board that actually switches them. So that way you don't have to go in, exit interactive, enter interactive, exit interactive, enter interactive. You have one interactive board and people can switch between them seamlessly if they want to. And or not just everybody. If you have that specific button on your board set to moderator only, then only mods will be able to do it, or only pro members will be able to do it, and or only staff will be able to do it. So it's an awesome workaround for having to enter and exit interactive, which is super handy. Not only with that, but can you add multiple effects to a button now, not just one? Before, you could always add a couple, image, sound, and you could also have it be a game control. But this one will allow you to attach the API buttons, the change group button, sounds, images. I mean, you can have this one button doing everything. So we're going to go with the play sound. We'll have the API button there. We don't need change group because I don't have multiple scenes. So here is where you can control your volume. These are played through the app itself and not the overlay file. So it's going to be running from here, not the overlay, which we will get into in just a second. So here is where you're going to choose your song. This is where my media lies. It's within the Firebot folder in the sound effects area. So we will go with Rock Your Body. And we want that to be at about 7. So here we are with the show image. We need to choose the file that we want. I need to get to my Firebot directory so that way I can grab a GIF media. There we go. We'll do this one. So location on where it should be shown. This is going to be within the overlay. So you're going to do wherever you want, top left, middle, top right, you know, you guys know your directions. So I'm going to choose middle. Actually, let's go with the top middle. So it'll be right up here. Seconds on how long it should be shown. I think we'll do about 4. That should be good for an old GIF/GIF. Now, after which, we're going to need to go to the folder, which Firebot is installed on, and or should say extracted to. Here we go. Now we're going to go for the overlay. And then this is where you will be adding stuff to. Either you can open this up and have that there, or you can just go into your OBS and then add a new source. And you're going to want to add a browser source. Firebot overlay. Make source visible, yes. And then make a new one. So we're going to go from a local file. Now we need to get to our program. There it is. There we are. And there we go. Local file has been set. Now we can get out of there. We will take that away so that you guys don't have to see just a bunch of mic audio. And then we're pretty much done with that one. So now let's add another effect. So you can also add, not only does it have your cooldown in seconds there, but we can add a cooldown for this as well. You can select multiple buttons to be put on a cooldown from this one button. So if instead you don't want to make a group for your cooldowns and just adding all the buttons there, you can do it within here so that once this button is toggled, it will send a cooldown group across all the buttons. But we do not need that one since we've already made a cooldown group. So here we go. We can close these and open these by clicking right here. I did not mention that. I should have a little earlier. And then here is the celebration. So right now we only have the fireworks celebration. There's no confetti or anything like that. But we will go with this and we will go for 4 seconds. Let's go for 5 seconds. And then this will also be showing up within the overlay as well. Since we've already grabbed our overlay and I've already showed you how to do that, you should be able to get that fairly easy, considering all your buttons on the board will be using that one overlay. Actually, all the buttons within the bot will be using that one overlay. So we're done with that one. Let's add another effect. We already have sound. We don't need game control. We've already got our image. We don't need the cooldown. So this one is your chat button. This one you can set it as a streamer and then whisper it to a specific user and or your bot, which would still be a specific user. So if you wanted to like use and utilize Scorpbot commands within Firebot, you could do something like my currency in the channel is crumbs. So I do exclamation point crumbs, and then I could whisper it to, let's see, the variable S user will be replaced with the username of the person who pressed the button. Or, example, if Firebottle hits the button, it can whisper him. Or you can just have it whisper the bot, which my bot is gamertag is bot. And what that would do is it would send from the streamer to the bot. Since Scorpbot does not allow talking within itself, you can't set it as bot and just whisper it to the bot. So you'll need to set it as a streamer and whisper it to the bot. And then what that would do is whisper it to the bot, so that way I could have the crumbs of the bot displayed. And or if you were wanting to do like a loots command, oh, that says lots. If you were wanting to do a loots command, you'd be able to do that as well. And save. So now this button right here is super outstanding. In previous versions of Firebot, you could not play things from the window. With this version, you can hit the little play button, and it will, that was a little bit loud. So there, I'm gonna have a couple of errors because I didn't connect my streamer and bot account. But, there you go. There's my sound, there's the GIF, there are also the fireworks there. And that is pretty much it. That was one button that did all of that. Used to not be able to do multiple APIs with one button, which is something I didn't really show off. So here we are with the API button. What API should it do? It can do advice like normal, the cat and dog facts and pictures, the awe pictures, Pokemon trivia, as well as number trivia. So which one should you send this to? You're going to be sending it sending this as, you can send it as the bot, which is very helpful, so it doesn't just like have your streamer account be spamming out all those things, making people think that you're typing. But also, warning, API pulls are from a third-party site and have no control over the quality or the content. So if you get a really poopy image, that is just how it's going to be. You can just click the button again and potentially get another one. But I also didn't show this off. You can pick multiple APIs, as I was trying to state. So you've got not only Pokemon, but I could also send out a cat picture, or if you wanted to tie in the cat picture and cat facts, you could do so. This bot has been improved tenfold. It is frickin' amazing. Your body makes me want to rock my body, do a little dance. But yeah, so that's pretty much it with the settings, the defaults, and showing of the cooldown groups. When buttons are pressed on the board, you will have the cooldown group set. We didn't save our changes there. And then for the default area, this will actually just allow you to preview them, so that people, if you don't want people to waste their sparks, so that way you can just do a little preview to show what they do, which people should be pressing the buttons on your board to kind of see what they do. It's a little bit of a mystery behind it. That's why the boards are so fun. But if not, and you just want to keep replaying stuff, you can do so here now, which is very, very awesome. Very awesome. I know I've said that a couple of times, but it's because it's super freaking awesome. I enjoy the hell out of it. So here we are with the interactive boards tab. Now we're going to move on to the groups tab. So you can add custom groups and custom groupings to where you can grab the IDs for the buttons themselves. So this is going to be the group ID. We're going to go with test. Then we're going to go with myself. You can also search users if you need to, but I am not online, so there's not going to be any searching. And you can save that. And then this is a custom group, which you then can add to the board. So once you've gotten your custom group made with all the users that you want available to hit the button, you would then go here and then add the, where is it? Change group. There we go. So which group should I switch the person to? This button will move whoever clicks it, to the new group. So like I was saying earlier, you can have the group buttons which allow you to change the board for the different scenes, and it doesn't change it for just everybody if you set it up to be a specific user and whatnot. So that was the test group that I had made with myself. So if I hit the button, it'll switch me over to a new board, which is friggin' amazing if I do say so myself. So save changes there. And then we are pretty much done with the groups tab. That's all there really is to it. You just add usernames. Oh, see, like there's me. I've got that. So there we are. Now off to moderation. So this is the event log. I manually press the button. I manually press button number 1. So that will go here. I can search by buttons and search by username. So that way you can find a user and ban them if you need to, which is very helpful. Banned users will go here and they cannot interact with your board. If you have repeat offenders that are just spamming buttons, if you have too low of a cooldown or even a higher cooldown, but they keep hitting the same button over and over and over again and it doesn't allow anybody else to use buttons, or if you're playing a game and they're just trolling people, this will allow you to ban them so that way other people can play the game. Inner working with that, if you are going to be setting up buttons for individual users, like let's say you want to play what is that game, N++ or something like that, where it requires a lot of cooperation in between the players, instead of having everybody being able to move around with WASDA, you could have one person with W, one person with A, or a couple people with A. It'd be easier just having one user set to each button to see if they could work together to actually beat the level. And that again would all fall underneath the making of the button under the default area. So you can have all of these set, and then once you have your once you've got your group made, you'd be able to do some grouping to where only one specific user can actually utilize the button, which is super awesome. Super awesome. So here I showed you how you can have multiple different users control stuff. If you wanted just one user to be able to control a button and or a board itself, you would go here and then you would select the test area or whatever user group that you want to be able to switch in between the boards themselves for the general settings and whatnot, which is again another super awesome thing that Firebot Interactive has available for all of the users. After which, we are going to now go over to settings. If you're having any issues with your overlay compatibility because you're on like XSplit or another streaming application, you'll be able to come down here and change your compatibility. If you want to get notified of the newest features, what you would do here is you'd opt in to be a beta tester. This is currently a beta version, and it's most likely going to become the release version, so I'm just going to click no. And here, if you're having some issues with the emulator because you're not getting people to be able to control your keyboard, you can switch in between the robot.js and the KBM robot. That is pretty much all I have for you in terms of what the board has available. If you need, you can go to the info tab, and this will always display the most recent release, which is very handy. If you need to download it, you can go here if you're having some issues and just need to re-download, or you can just go into your folder and extract. But if your download process within the window did not go as well from the internet to your computer, you may have to re-download it if the extraction every single time continues to fail, or if you're having an issue even after re-downloading it and extracting it. I would go here and report the bug, and these will take you directly to the site. It'll be very handy. Everything is pretty much a click now. You don't have to copy and paste anything other than your code when you're importing a new board. Everything's just click, drop down menu, click, close drop down menu, and save. Very, very, very awesome. So to actually show this off a little bit, I'm going to do a quick little cut here. So there we go. I'm signed in. Now I'm going to go back to the board and double check. Make sure everything, yep, 45 seconds, that's good. Go to our button. It's unnamed, but that's because I didn't name it within the dev lab, the studio. And here we are. Let's see. We're going to look at the chat button. We're going to send that as streamer to the bot, which is not currently running. So one moment while I grab that. I will launch that real quick. So yep, everything looks like it is in order. Don't mind that. Sorry about that. Yep, looks like we are all set up and we are ready to launch. So what you're going to need to do here, after you've made everything and you're ready to go, is click connect. And or if you're in game and the board goes down, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit Control Alt F12 if it ever needs a reconnection, or if you need a quick disconnection because you're in a super tense moment of the game, you need to hear and not have all those sounds come off. That is the area that you would need to be going to. There we go. Our account is linked. We don't need that. We don't need this. We don't need that anymore. And here we go. Back to Mixer. To my channel. I'm currently hosting someone, so unhost. Start the game to go interactive. I might need to exit this though. Now click back in.
Rock your body.
And back in.
Rock your body. Rock your body.
Fireworks, sounds, all that's working. The only thing that isn't is my bot, because I didn't set up the chat side of things, which I clearly showed you guys I did not do. I just wanted to sign in so that way I could connect it to the account and be able to press it from this side.
Rock your body.
And there we go. So let's actually go back down into the chat. Send as streamer, whisper, gamer tag is bot. And save. Quick disconnect and reconnect.
Rock your body.
And it whispered in to the bot. Loots. Since my command is not a whisper command, it did not take, but that is pretty much how you would get to proc all those. So edit here. Prefab, output, input type, we can go to whisper. So to actually get things to talk back and forth to each other, you need to change your input type to whisper.
Rock your body.
And then it will whisper the user. Just like this. Pretty awesome. It makes it to where your chat doesn't fill up with a bunch of crap. It does, it does. So if you want to change the output type though, and you don't want it to whisper, the same as the input type, what you would do here is you'd go public. And vice versa, if you wanted a public input but a whispered response, you could do so as well. Then you want to click add save.
Rock your body.
Oh yeah, I forgot my timer is on a cooldown. So there we go.
Your body.
And then that would allow you to do things like that. So I know we kind of hit a lot of different areas. I hope I went slow enough so that way you guys can take it all in. If you guys have any issues, questions, and or just can't figure it out, whether it be with API reads within the bot itself or within the talking in between the bots, feel free to hit me up on Discord. I will be more than happy to help you guys. A DM will probably be the easiest thing to get a hold of me with. But if you go down here on my page, and or I'll just link this in the description, it's discord.gg/244TQDE. Again, I will have all these links in the description so that way you guys can get a hold of them very easily. But yeah, hit me up on either Discord is going to be the easiest, or you could feel free to smash me up on Twitter, hit me up there, and that will pretty much give the same results. Or just question in YouTube, and then I will try to do it within the comments. I do check my comments when I get an email, but sometimes I do miss them as I am on Discord and Twitter a lot more. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. I do hope it has helped a ton. If you liked it and you want to show your appreciation, drop by the stream and let me know that you used it and it has worked very well for you. And or if it hasn't worked very well for you, come into the stream and yell at me, just, hey, your tutorial sucks. Whether you're trolling or it actually did not help you, I will do my best to help you afterwards. So again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with the old tutorial video and myself. I know we're not really hanging out, but hey, you get me. I will see you guys later on and in the next video. So thank you guys again, and have a good rest of your day.